Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by Bell Tire. Back in April, Justin Verlander absolutely lit up the Seattle Mariners. 12 strikeouts in 7 innings on April 18th at Safeco Field, and Verlander will get another shot at those Mariners tonight. It's a beautiful night for baseball. We welcome you to downtown Detroit, and we welcome you to Comerica Park. Game 3 in this series featuring the Tigers and the Seattle Mariners. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Pepper, Ron Allen, glad to have you with us here for Game 3 in the series. Tigers have won the first 2, and tonight they send Justin Verlander to the mound. Hisashi Iwakuma, meanwhile, will oppose him, and that's a really good pitching matchup.
No doubt about that. Justin Verlander will need to go out there and be on top of his game. Even though the Seattle Mariners, from an offensive standpoint, are very challenged, he's going to have to put up quite a few zeros because Iwakuma is legit. He checks in with a 2.87 ERA. If you look at some of his other secondary numbers, whether it be the whip or whether it be the amount of strikeouts to walks this year, he is one of the best pitchers in the American League. Tigers offensively are going to have to attack him real early with a lot of fastballs.
All right, one good thing we got out of last night's ballgame, aside from the win, obviously, was Miguel Cabrera hit a home run the first time since late August. Awfully good to see him starting to heat up now.
You know, you brought this up, too, when he made a play last night. It was on a bunt. You said he's moving better now than he has in the last couple of weeks, and they go hand in hand. When you're standing in that batter's box as a hitter like Miguel Cabrera, who loves to use his legs, that's how your bread is buttered. And he hit a ball the opposite way last night, a solo home run, which is a big, big knock.
All right, after a short break, we'll send you back to the Callsam Studios. We'll check in with Justin White. Coming up, it's the third game in this series. Tigers going for a series win here tonight. Game 3 against Seattle, and it's coming up next.
Under that light rain, beaming in that night game. Can't stop now, keep moving, no break pass. Came here to prove a point, live my life on the field, make history in between the base pass.
Getting closer and closer. The magic number is down to 6 as we come into play tonight. Beautiful night for baseball here in downtown Detroit. And Justin Verlander on the mound for the Tigers. He is presented tonight by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
And very important for Verlander to go out and fill up the strike zone. Last couple of nights, Tigers starters pitch count got them. Both Porcello and also Anibal Sanchez both had tons of strikeouts. If Justin's going to rack up tons of strikeouts tonight, he needs to do it a little bit more efficiently if he wants to stay out there for a while.
So we are ready for baseball now as Dustin Ackley leads it off for the visiting Seattle Mariners. Ackley digs in from the left side, and the first pitch of the ball game is a strike from Verlander. Ackley, then Gutierrez and Seager here for Seattle. Tigers have won the first 2 games in the series. 1 for 6 for Dustin Ackley. Wave and a miss, and the count is 0-2.
Ackley took a swing at that last fastball like he was looking for something else. You don't usually see guys that are looking for fastballs take swings like Ackley just took at that fastball.
He is knocked in 27 this year, and he looks at a ball outside, and Ackley now has had the count go to 1 ball, 2 strikes.
When the Tigers saw the Seattle Mariners earlier this year in the month of April, Ackley was their starting second baseman. Now playing center field for the Mariner Ball Club.
Yeah, he's been all over the place this year, and Verlander missed outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. He has turned it on, though, in the second half, batting .320.
They gave him a wake-up call in the month of May. They sent him back down to the minor leagues for about a month.
And Verlander tried to nip the outside corner, missed it now, 3-2.
Man, good to see Justin Verlander incorporate that curveball here in the very first inning to the very first hitter. Hasn't been throwing many off-speed pitches last few starts. He's been heavy on the fastballs.
Franklin Gutierrez waiting on deck. Avila back behind the plate tonight, running through the signals. Here's the 3-2. And he lost it, ball 4. So Verlander got quickly ahead of Ackley, and he ends up walking him. The rest of the lineup for Seattle presented by the Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Gutierrez and Seager following Ackley. Morales is the DH. Smoke is at first. Saunders in left. Bottom 3 tonight of Franklin, Blanco, and Trienfeld. Right fielder is Franklin Gutierrez. Played in last night's ball game. He is 0 for 5 in the series. Former Cleveland Indian. With Ackley at first base. And Gutierrez looks at a strike, 0-1 as Phil Cuzzy goes up for the right hand.
Verlander's last start came against the Kansas City Royals, a team that leads the world in stolen bases. And so you really have to pay attention to the run game when you go up against Kansas City. Not so much here with the Seattle Mariners club.
Driven high and deep in the left field. Coming over toward the corner is Tuiasa Sopo at the edge of the track. And back to first base goes Ackley.
Let's take a look at the starting defense by the Detroit Tigers. It's presented by Beaumont Health System. Tuiasa Sopo getting the start tonight against a very difficult right-hander in Iwakuma. Jackson in center field. Don Kelly in right. Miggy and Prince are on the corners of the infield in Iglesias. And it is Hernan Perez at second base today. And you mentioned Avila playing in his 5th consecutive game.
Perez getting the call at second base for Infante, who had a bit of a tight quad in last night's ball game. So Jim gives him the night off tonight.
They say that quad has been bothersome for Infante for a number of games now, but he just continues to go out there and perform at a very high level.
Expect Omar back in the lineup tomorrow for the Tigers in the day game, the series finale. Another quick throw. And back in there is Ackley.
Jim continues to do a very nice job at giving guys a little bit of a blow when they need a day off, whether it be Prince DHing and Victor playing first. Torrey Hunter getting the night off, as is Infante, the second baseman.
You can expect Cabrera to DH tomorrow, and Victor Martinez scheduled to catch. Way outside, 1 ball, no strikes on Kyle Seager. 3 for 4 with 3 singles career against Verlander.
Seager, good fastball hitter, so if Justin decides to challenge him with a fastball in this count, he's going to have to locate it in an area where Seager can't get to it. You know, by now Verlander has a great pickoff move, very quick feet, and he has a fast arm, which means he gets the ball over to Prince Fielder in plenty enough time to pick base runners off if they inch their way off the bag too far.
Here's the 1-0, and it's a ball outside. 2-0 on Seager. Verlander picked off a runner in his last start against Kansas City. And tonight's start for JV. This is 32nd of the year. 13 wins, 11 defeats this season. That time a little bit closer as Ackley gets back in there.
It's been an up and down year for Verlander. He's given up a total of 91 runs already this year. Only gave up 70 in 2012, so 21 more runs already given up by Justin.
And he missed again, so the count goes to 3-0 on Kyle Seager. Verlander has thrown 11 pitches early in this game. 7 of those are balls, 4 are strikes. Kendrys Morales waits on deck. That's in there for a strike. 3-1. Seager's hit 22 homers this year. It's been kind of a streaky year for him.
You might see Ackley take off on the 3-1 pitch. Seager, if he gets a fastball, I believe Eric Wedge has enough confidence in Seager to put it in play.
High fly ball left field. This will be routine for Tuiasa Sopo. And the runner retreats. 2 gone. So Verlander comes back nicely after falling behind 3-0. Now Kendrys Morales back in the lineup here tonight. Morales batting .281. Had a pinch hit RBI double late in last night's ball game.
Ibanez, he got the evening off. His number's not good against Justin Verlander. Ibanez having a great year. Hit his 28th home run last night, but he is just 3 for 29 against Justin.
I would say that's not a good year.
Yeah, Eric Wedge, manager, say you just take this one off tonight. We're going to look at the numbers and we're going to pay attention to them tonight.
Meanwhile, Morales is 8 for 21 with a long ball against JV. 78 RBIs this year for Kendrys. And he shoots that one in the air foul down the left field line. 1 ball and 1 strike on the veteran Kendrys Morales. Of his 22 home runs this year, 17 have come as a DH, which is the second highest total among DHs in the AL. You might expect that Mr. Ortiz is the leader, and he is. Big Poppy. Another toss back. Ackley still at first base. He led the ball game off with a walk. Swing and a miss. 1-2. Healthy cut there from Morales.
Talked about Justin Verlander and his quick feet and fast arm, which has gotten him quite a few pickoffs since he came to the big leagues in 2006. 24 is the second among right-handed pitchers in the majors.
Now the 1-2. Bounced foul. One and 2 the count remains on Kendrys Morales. Tigers lead the season series. They have met 5 times. Detroit has won 4 of those games, including the first 2 in this series. Although they have been scrappy wins for the Tigers, they have not come easily, that's for sure. Brandon Maurer did a pretty good job last night for Seattle, and they got one of their better pitchers tonight going in Iwakuma. So another challenge you would expect for the Tigers tonight. Here's the 1-2. He tried to hold up, went around. Strike 3. Morales is out. Verlander has his first strikeout of the ball game as we go to the bottom of the first. And the Seattle Mariners getting together here for the third in the four-game series. The starting lineup for the Tigers presented by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. Jackson, Kelly, and Cabrera, your top three tonight. Fielder, Martinez, Tuiasosopo in the middle. Avila, Perez, and Iglesias, your bottom three, and they're facing the offerings of Hisashi Iwakuma.
Hisashi's got some great stuff. His fastball will top out at 92, but he can spot that fastball with precision, just like Anibal Sanchez did last night. He also has a curveball. He will throw a slider, but his strikeout pitch, and I mean it is a really good pitch for him. That's his split-fingered fastball. That's what he gets all his Ks with.
So Iwakuma set to go to work. Here is Austin Jackson to start things off. And he'll miss outside 1-0.
Expect the Tigers to be very aggressive tonight on first pitch fastballs that are close to the plate against Iwakuma, because he doesn't fall behind many hitters. Doesn't walk very many batters.
Now the 1-0 pitch. He slings that one outside. 2 balls, no strikes. Iwakuma is listed at 6'3", 210-pounder, born in Tokyo, Japan.
He has already pitched over 200 innings this year for the Mariners, the most on their team.
Now the 2-0 pitch. Bouncing ball, third base side, foul. He is the 8th Japanese-born player in Mariners history. He played 11 seasons in Japan before he was signed by the M's as a free agent in 2012. And they got themselves a good one. Now the 2-1. 2-2 on Jackson. Austin 3 out of 9 in the series. He's just safely now in his last 3. Tigers trying to get the offense started a bit earlier tonight. They did most of their scoring last night in these 6th, 7th, and 8th innings. Here's the 2-2. Ground ball, third base side, right at Seager. Easy hop there, one gone.
Let's take a look at the Seattle Mariners starting defense, brought to you by Tim Hortons. In the outfield, it is Saunders, Ackley, and Gutierrez. Kyle Seager, 104th consecutive start at third base, which is a team record for the M's. Trienfeld started all 3 games at shortstop. Franklin's at second. Justin Smoke at first, and Henry Blanco is getting his first start of the series.
Seager, a guy that goes out there night in, night out with all those games consecutively played at third base. They play off the line at third now as Kelly stands in.
And Don Kelly elevated to that number 2 slot today, with Torrey Hunter getting at least the start of this contest off.
Kelly had a nice ball game last night. And he shoots this one on the ground back up the middle. Franklin tried to backhand it, could not make the play, and Kelly is aboard. It's a base hit.
It was going to be very difficult for Franklin to throw Don Kelly out at first base. They were playing him to pull, and even if he was able to pick this ball up, and once he redirects and throws the ball to Justin Smoke, the first baseman, Don Kelly would have been safe anyway. Don Kelly hit a home run last night, but that one at bat, probably his most impressive at bat, his second hit of the game.
Yeah, it came late. It was a base hit up the middle. Part of that big 8th inning for the Tigers. Here is Cabrera. Shoots one in the air, deep in the air to center. Ackley moving over, though, to the gap to make the catch. 2 gone. Everything off Cabrera's bat just sounds loud.
It does, and I'm kind of surprised that a lot of those that have sounded loud haven't gone very far.
That one just kind of got swallowed up out there in right center field. There's Prince Fielder. Fielder batting .280 with 24 home runs. Knocked in 102 this year. He has seen Iwakuma 4 times. He is 2 for 4 against him. And he sends a ground ball inside the bag at third base. Kelly is on his way to third. They're going to stop him there, and Prince cues a double inside the bag at third.
Kyle Seager down at third base, plays about 15 feet off that line, and Prince Fielder cued one right off the end of the bat. Nothing Seager's going to do, and now Prince Fielder is standing on second base. Don Kelly is on first base. If you're Eric Wedge, the manager, man, you might want to consider walking Victor Martinez here with the base open. I know it's only the first inning, but with the right-hander in the on-deck circle, Tuiasa Sopo, why not walk him?
And that's exactly what they're going to do. They will walk Martinez intentionally with that bag open. And so Tuiasa Sopo will be coming up next with the bases loaded.
Tuiasa Sopo's number is pretty good this year against right-handers, and Iwakuma, his splits, they don't vary that much as far as the batting average is concerned, whether it's a left-hander or a right-hander. But what he does do, he gives up lots of home runs. He's given up 25 of those. 15 of those have come to right-handed bats. So there you have it. Tuiasa Sopo is a right-hander who has some power.
So Martinez gets the intentional walk. Here comes Matt. An opportunity to do some early damage here. .215 against lefties, .238 against righties. And Tuiasa Sopo 7 home runs this year. With the bases loaded career is hitting a cool .400.
It would be huge if they could put a run or 2 on the board against Iwakuma, who does not give up many runs in any start. When you go up against really good pitchers, if you don't get them early, you usually don't get them at all.
And he slings one down low, 1 ball and no strikes. This is the organization that Tuiasa Sopo broke in with, the Seattle Mariners. Originally drafted by Seattle. 3rd round back in 2004. He's got him loaded here with 2 outs. And that drops in for a strike, 1-1.
Something that Iwakuma can do very well. We've talked about the split-fingered fastball, which is a well above average pitch for him, but he likes to elevate fastballs at the top of the zone to get strikes with that fastball at about 91 miles an hour. Hitters are usually late on that pitch.
On the outside corner, and Tui didn't like it as he steps out. He really didn't like it. 1-2. That's why. Touch outside. Verlander hoping for some early offense in this one. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Here's the 1-2. Tigers faced Iwakuma earlier this year, but he has an additional weapon this go around. When he came out of spring training, he developed a blister in his last start, so he really couldn't throw his split finger pitch the first time the Tigers faced him. But that is part of his arsenal this go round. Here are the numbers in that start. Even without the split, he went 6 innings, 3 hits, no runs. He lined up against Verlander in that game as well. Swing and a miss. Tuiasa Sopo is out of there, and the Tigers will leave them loaded. Is brought to you by Comerica Bank, a part of Detroit and the community since 1849. Jeep, rediscover the freedom of the open road at the Jeep Celebration event. And by Maxwell House Coffee, good to the last drop. Back here in downtown Detroit, the Tigers and Seattle hook up in Game 3 in this series, and so far no score as we go to the top of the second. So, kids. Yeah, it's a great night to bring kids out to the ballpark. Looking for a foul ball. Here come the M's now facing Verlander in the second. Smoke Saunders Franklin facing the Tigers right-hander. Justin walked the leadoff man in the ball game, but no damage was done. Got a couple of fly balls and a strikeout.
Smoke hasn't done a whole lot in this series, just 2 for 8 with 1 RBI, but he has done a lot of damage in this ballpark. He has 5 career home runs right here in spacious Comerica Park.
Ball outside, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Switch hitter with power.
So far this year, 16 home runs for Smoke, but the average in the 240 range, 245 to be exact. In 10 games, 16 RBIs in this yard.
Their patience is probably running a little thin with Justin Smoke, because when they got him from the Texas Rangers in that Cliff Lee deal a few years ago, they thought he was going to be a perennial all-star and a guy that hit 25 to 30 and drove in 80 to 90 every year, but that really hasn't materialized. But he's kind of that guy, Mario, that if you let him go or if you trade him somewhere else, that bat wakes up and you're wishing you had him.
Well, you wonder really how long to give a guy, and I guess you go on a case by case, but he's been in Seattle now parts of the last 4 years. As he takes a walk, and he will lead things off with a base on balls.
Justin Verlander only walked a total of 1 batter in his last 2 outings, but he's already walked 2 here today.
He got away with the first one. We'll see if he can get through this inning now as Michael Saunders steps in. Double and a triple in this series for Saunders, batting .235. And he looks at a strike on the outer edge, 0-1. Saunders, another guy, Rod, you look at him physically and you think this kid has some tools. He's got a chance to be a really good player in this league.
He can do everything. I mean, when you line him up, he runs well, throws well, defends well. He's got a little pop in his bat. The batting average just is the last of his physical tools to really show up on the baseball diamond. I remember when Don Wakamatsu was their manager before Wes took over. And Don Wakamatsu was in love with Michael Saunders.
This year he's hit 10 homers. He's knocked in 40. But again, that average at .235, awfully low. One ball, one strike. A native of Canada. He went to college here in the United States, Tallahassee Community College. Verlander missing outside, 2-1.
Verlander has thrown 26 pitches, and the majority of them have missed the strike zone so far this evening. A total of 14 balls.
Here's the 2-1. 2-2 the count on Saunders. In his days at Tallahassee Community College, he was a teammate of Lorenzo Cain's of the Kansas City Royals. Here's Nick Franklin waiting on deck. Driven toward the gap in left center field. That is looking like trouble, and it is. It's going to go all the way to the wall. This might get a run in. Smoke rounding third. They're going to send him home. Here comes the relay to the plate. He slides. Safe at home plate. He just beat the tag of Avila. One nothing Seattle.
Michael Saunders got a 95-mile-per-hour fastball on the 2-2 count that was on the outside part of home plate, and he did with it exactly what you're taught to do, and that's driving in the gap the other way. And he hit it so far that Justin Smoke, running from first base, who does not have good speed, just ahead of the tag.
Smoke was lumbering around third, and as he made the turn, I thought we've got a chance to get him here. The relay was just a little bit tardy. There's a drive to left center field. That ball's going to get down. Smoke had a bad read on it, or check at the runner, Saunders rather, but he will come in to score easily, and it's back-to-back hits to make it 2-0.
Well, one thing I've noticed about Verlander so far, to most of the left-handers through the first plus innings here today, he's not pitching inside. And you cannot throw fastballs to these left-handers all day outside and not expect them to drive the ball into left field. You got to pitch inside a little bit more.
A 2-spot now for Seattle. It's going to bring up Henry Blanco. Batting just .143 this year. Blanco's really had a tough time at the dish. He has won for his last 32 at bats. 3 straight base runners here in the second for Seattle. That's the ratio you were touching on. Still not all that good. 30 total now thrown by JV. That's low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Franklin has just driven in a run. He's at first base. Fouled straight back. 1-2 the count. Blanco began the year with the Toronto Blue Jays, and then was released back in June and signed almost immediately after by the Seattle Mariners. Verlander has him set up for his second strikeout of the night. And a ground ball to short instead. Iglesias fires to second. Perez with a relay. Double play.
It really doesn't matter who's playing second base. With Iglesias at shortstop and his very quick hands and his ability to give the second baseman a feed right where he wants it, whether it's Perez or Infante, very little issues turning the double play over.
Two outs for the number 9 hitter, Carlos Trienfel. 2 runs in for Seattle here in the second. Trienfel has a double. It was a bloop double to right field last night, his only hit of the series. And he shoots one in the air to right, straight Ed Don Kelly to end the inning. 2 runs in on 2 hits, nobody left. Second, if the Tigers combine for 3 or more home runs in this game, bring a copy of the box score to a participating Arby's location tomorrow and get a free small order of curly fries. Well, the Tigers have some work to do now, down by a pair as Alex Avila leads it off. Avila, Perez, Iglesias here in the home half of the second, facing Iwakuma. Avila's turned it up a notch, has a triple in this series, a big one last night, 2 out of 5. And the batting average up to 225 now for Alex. 1 ball and no strikes. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Bouncing ball back up the middle. Trienfel has it behind the bag, and Avila is out. 1 away. Here is Hernan Perez. You know, the one thing I noticed about the stats of Iwakuma, yes, he's had a really good year, but they don't let him go much beyond 95 pitches or so.
That's probably why he's had such a good year. Eric Wedge watching him very closely all season long.
He has reached 100 only 6 times all season. That is it. But for the 95 plus pitches he's out there, he's been really good this year. Here's a ball outside, 1-0.
One of the reasons why he doesn't go very long in games, he's always pitching in quite a bit of stress because his team very seldom gets him any runs. So all of his games are highly contested, and a lot of his pitches are a lot of stressful pitches because the game is also always very close.
Well, as an example, Iwakuma has been really good of late. In fact, his last 4 starts, he's had 3 quality starts, an ERA a shade over 2, but all no decisions. That's line to center field. A sliding play out there by Dustin Ackley.
Iwakuma has 13 starts this year where he has 13 no decisions, and the ERA is 2.8. 13 no decisions.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Ackley, not a center fielder by trade, but he can run a little bit, gets a pretty good jump out there, and comes in and make a play. This goes to show you how far Gutierrez in right field has fallen out of favor here in Seattle. The fact that he is not playing center field. There was a time where he was one of the best center fielders in the American League, period.
Iglesias, the batter, he takes the ball outside, 1-0. 31 multi-hit games this year for Iglesias, batting .315. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Breaking ball dives in for a strike, 1-1. 1 for 4 in the series for Jose Iglesias.
Iglesias gives the Tigers an element that they just did not have before he got here at the end of July, and that's the element of speed.
Well, Johnny Peralta certainly gave them a whole lot more power. I mean, that certainly was Johnny's game, but the speed energy part of the Iglesias package really opens your eyes at times.
It'll help you down the stretch. When you get into the postseason, you're going to run into really good pitchers on a nightly basis. And at times they shut down really good hitters, but if you have a guy that can bunt for a base hit, steal second base, score on a sacrifice fly, as Iglesias did in last night's game, he basically manufactured a run all by himself.
Two out, nobody on. Tigers bat here in the second, down 2-0. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Iglesias is gone. Tigers go 1-2-3 as we go to the third. Tigers baseball tonight presented by Bell Tire. Park time now for tonight's Ace Hardware Scott's fan poll question of the game. I want to talk pitching tonight. Other than the Tigers, which potential playoff team has the most dangerous rotation? Is it A, the Rangers, B, the Red Sox, C, the Dodgers, or D, the Reds? You can text ACE then a space, followed by the letter answer to 37338, and cast your vote tonight. The Tigers certainly are well equipped with their starting rotation. Dustin Ackley leading it off. It'll be Ackley, Gutierrez, and Seager as we play here in the third. And Verlander throws a strike on the outer edge, 0-2. He got Ackley down to the count 0-2 back in the first, but ended up walking him. Now the 0-2 pitch. And he missed with it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here's the 1-2. Low. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Dustin Ackley. Franklin Gutierrez and then Kyle Seager, top 3 hitters in the Seattle lineup here in the third. Here's the 2-2. High. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Here's Gutierrez waiting on deck. Fouled it straight back. Here are those other rotations we were talking about, and when we get to the postseason, which one of these do you think will be the most difficult?
Well, if you get to the World Series and Kershaw, Greinke, if the Tigers are fortunate enough to do that in them, that is a very tough matchup right there in games 1 and 2. That's the scariest for me.
Here's the 3-2. Bouncing ball to second base. Perez to his right. Ackley is out of there, 1 gone.
Luster Buchholz, pretty good 1-2 combination as well.
Pitching just becomes so magnified in the postseason. We see so many great examples of how, if you have the hottest pitchers, I mean, look at the Giants last year in the World Series.
And their bullpen.
True.
Because a lot of times when you get to the postseason, the starting pitchers, they are throwing about 100 pitches through 5-6 innings. So if you've got a guy that can lock it down in the 7th, 8th, and 9th, and they're hot, once your team gets into the dance, you got a pretty good chance of winning.
Franklin Gutierrez, the batter. Right back off Verlander. He's not going to be able to run it down. It's going to be an infield hit for Gutierrez. Time for a game break right now. We check in with Mickey York. We know you will. Thanks, Mick. Here is what the wild card looks like right now. You probably can't get a whole lot tighter than that. Tampa, Texas right now holding on to the 2 spots. Those Indians a half game out.
Texas finally won a game last night after dropping 7 games in a row.
I was talking to one of the Rangers scouts before the game today saying that we're hot, man. Got a winning streak going now, 1 in a row.
They'll take that.
And after 7 straight in the L column. Seager the batter. Seager flied out back in the first inning to left field.
This is the time of year when there are quite a few scouts in attendance watching the Tigers. National League scouts, American League scouts, and there's usually one watching the pitchers, and there's also one watching the hitters. So each team representing a team that has the potential of going to the postseason has 2 guys watching Detroit tonight.
You can tell when it's playoff time or nearing playoff time, because there are probably twice as many scouts in the dining room and then certainly down low in the seats than there normally are.
And the scouts you see now, we don't see those guys during the regular season for the most part. These are their best scouts. These are the guys they trust the most. That's going to give them the best evaluation of how to beat the Tigers. These are their specialty guys.
Strike called on Seager, 2-2. 1 on, 1 out. We're in the third. Kendrys Morales waiting on deck. Down the left field line, slicing. And Tuiasa Sopo watches it back into the seats. There aren't too many secrets this time of the year, are there? All the scouts?
Nope, they're not.
Writing down all the tendencies.
With all the video these days, you can go back and watch games and fast forward stuff and slow it down.
Two balls, two strikes. Seager is 0 for 8 in this series, and he sends one off the end of the bat foul. 2-2 the count stays on their number 3 hitter. Seager played his college ball at UNC, University of North Carolina, and finished there as a career .353 hitter.
Big difference in the number 3 hitters here in the ballpark tonight. Miguel Cabrera hitting about .350 with 44 homers and 130 driven in. Seager, and he has 22 and he's driven in 66.
Runner goes outside. Not in time on the throw to second base.
Nice slide there by Gutierrez, sliding to the furthest side of second base, which made it a long way for Iglesias to take the tag and get it down to him. A real nice slide to the corner of that bag by Franklin Gutierrez. Good look here.
Third stolen base of the year for Gutierrez. That again is going toward the corner and back out of play. 3-2 on Seager. Quite a few of these Mariners are mired in some slumps. Seager is one of them now. 2 for his last 37 at bats. Trying to drive in a run here with Gutierrez at second base. Seattle already in the lead, 2-0. RBI double by Saunders. RBI single by Franklin back in the second. And he just missed outside, walked him. Looked like Cuzzy wanted to call him out, but he never pulled the trigger. Third walk now for Verlander.
Looks like Jim Leyland's going to need multiple innings once again out of that bullpen tonight. The first game, Porcello pitched 6 innings, although they were 6 really good innings. He won the game, but he threw 105 pitches. Anibal Sanchez, he pitched at 6 1/3 last night. He threw 125 pitches.
Of course, the strikeouts a lot to do that as well. The Tigers have gone 3 straight games now in which their pitching staff has struck out 10 or more. Tigers pitching in the series with Verlander's strikeout tonight has fanned 26. 0-2 the count. Morales struck out back in the first. Little chopper foul down the first base line. Wasn't too long ago that Morales put up that huge season, 34 homers, 108 RBIs, and he hit .306 back in 09 with the Angels. Things were going swimmingly until he broke his leg a couple of years later and then missed an entire season.
He was traded in the offseason for Jason Vargas, who now plays for the Los Angeles Angels. Angels needed pitching. Seattle needed a powerful bat in the middle of their order, so they made that deal.
Verlander tried to thread the outside part of the plate with a 97-mile-an-hour fastball.
Best fastball of the evening thrown by Justin.
Two on, one out. Another one that missed. It's one thing the M's do fairly well. In fact, they're 6th in the big leagues in pitches per plate appearances, almost 4 per plate appearance.
Justin Verlander has never been for me a guy that pitches away from contact, but with his fastball today, a little reluctant in throwing that fastball over the plate.
Slow tap to first base, and Prince will tag the bag for the out.
Back-to-back 97-mile-per-hour fastballs to Morales before finally getting him to ground out. Here's today's high-speed stat, and is brought to you by Charter Internet. In the months of April and May, in June and July, you can see the velocity of Justin Verlander was right around 93, close to 94 in August and September. And he's got a little bit more giddy up on his fastball. We just told you he's thrown 2 already tonight at 97.
So Seattle now in search of a 2-out hit from Justin Smoke. A couple of guys in scoring position. And Smoke looks at a ball outside, 1-0. He walked and scored, started things off back in the second. Swing and a miss, 1-1. Verlander now has thrown 60, and we're only in the 3rd frame here tonight. Here's the 1-1. Strike called on the inside part of the plate, 1-2.
His life would become a whole lot easier if he did a little bit more of that here tonight. Great fastball inside at 96. Nothing Smoke could do with that pitch.
And the 1-2. Fouled it off. Smoke staying alive. He was a freshman All-American at South Carolina, where he played his college ball. In fact, when he came out in the draft back in 2008, was considered one of the top 5 prospects coming out in that draft that year. Very, very highly regarded.
Switch hitter with a lot of power, plus power.
Checked it. He'll ask for the appeal. He went. Tom Hallion calls him out, and the threat is over. No runs. They get a hit, a walk, and they leave 2. We'll go to the bottom of the 3rd. Still 2-0 Seattle. Bottom of the third tonight here at Comerica Park. You can vote for your Tigers McDonald's Player of the Game, presented by the new Mighty Wings. Using your cell phone, text Tigers, then a space, and the player's uniform number to 37338, or vote online at foxsportsdetroit.com. Iwakuma back to the hill, and the Tigers here in the third have the top of the order. Austin Jackson cuts and misses 0-1. Jackson, Kelly, Cabrera facing the right-hander Iwakuma. AJ in the ball game 0 for 1. He bounced out back in the first inning. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Bouncing ball left side, cut off at third by Seager. 1 up, 1 away here in the Tiger third. Now Don Kelly. Kelly had an infield hit his first time up. Tigers actually loaded the bases in the first inning. They walked Martinez intentionally to load the bases. They faced Tuiasosopo, and Iwakuma struck him out.
So far, that has been the best call of the game by Eric Wedge, the manager of the Seattle Mariners. And base open to walk Victor Martinez in the first.
Kelly looks at a strike.
Seems like a very easy thing to do, but you don't see a lot of managers walk batters intentionally in the very first inning.
You see stuff like that in the later innings. Here's the 0-1 pitch, which I guess it really doesn't make sense, because you can lose games early in the contest too.
Yes, you can.
Eric Wedge, at his third season as the skipper of these Mariners.
He is at the third year of the contract that he signed when he took over, so he is looking to be re-signed in the offseason by Seattle.
The 0-2. Of course, the Tigers are very familiar with Eric Wedge. 7 years as the manager of the Cleveland Indians, who are now skippered by Terry Francona, who with each passing day is getting more and more consideration for manager of the year in the American League. The 0-2 is low. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Kelly now 3 for 6 in the series, trying to get something started here in the third. And he missed outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Iwakuma was an all-star this year, the first time in his career here in the States. He did make 3 all-star teams in Japan. He did not pitch, though, because he pitched on the Sunday right before the all-star break. Now the 2-2. Lifted in the air toward left. Saunders coming in. 2 gone.
We talked about Miguel last night, who homered the opposite way, and we really hadn't seen him do it in quite some time. But here's an example of Miguel when the legs are underneath him, how as a right-handed batter, there is no one in the game that could hit balls into the seats in that direction as well as Miguel Cabrera can do so. He'll take fastballs off the plate. He'll take breaking balls that are down. He's got that classic inside-out swing, and he's got a lot of power.
Well, Cabrera stands in now after flying deep to center field his first time up. 6-game hitting streak going now for Miguel. We talked a little bit about this last night, even touched on it in the open tonight, how there are signs that maybe health-wise he's getting better and better with that play he made defensively last night.
No doubt about that. And it is a welcome sight for the Tigers.
Fouled straight back.
Jim really hasn't tipped his hand as to whether he will give Miggy a little bit of a blow once the team is able to clinch a postseason berth. But you would have to think that he'll get Miggy off his feet, get him fresh for October.
Jim is so superstitious about it, and certainly doesn't want to talk about it until it happens. Of course, the Tigers' magic number at 6.
Does he know they're selling playoff tickets here?
1 ball, 2 strikes. I don't think he knows, but
he doesn't know that.
I'm sure he does, but he's still not going to take anything for granted. Even with a 6-game spread, 88 wins for the Tigers. Here's the 1-2. Chopped foul as Cabrera stays alive.
You can say all you want to say about the Tigers being an outstanding team, which they are. And a lot of experts picked them to get to the World Series, but it's tough to go through a 162 game schedule and keep everybody happy and healthy and win your third consecutive possible American League Central crown. It is tough to do.
Here's the 1-2 again. Breaking ball, hammered foul back out of play. I think managers this time of the year that are in Jim Leyland's spot, which obviously is a good spot to be in, have to kind of balance getting your guys ready, keeping them healthy, giving them some time off, and winning as many games as you can to try and get home field advantage.
Every night they come to the ballpark, they are the hunted. Not the hunter, they are the hunted. They get every team's best on a nightly basis.
Swing and a miss, and Iwakuma finally gets him. 1-2-3 inning for the Seattle right-hander. Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Arby's. Try Arby's new Smokehouse Brisket Sandwich today. Arby's, slicing up freshness. And by Bell Tire, get the lowest tire price, period. Bell Tire. Back here at the ballpark tonight, the Tigers are down to Seattle 2-0 as we go to the top of the fourth. 2 runs on 3 hits for the visitors. No runs, 2 hits for the Tigers. It'll be left-handed batting. Michael Saunders leading it off, then Franklin, then Blanco. Facing Justin Verlander. JV gave up 2 in the second. He stranded a couple of runners in the third as well. Saunders had a big hit, RBI double back in the second. The 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss, 1-1. This Seattle offense really has not been all that good this month. A .217 average. And they have scored 2 or fewer runs 9 times. Here's the 1-1. 2 balls, 1 strike. Saunders now with 41 RBIs. The 2-1 pitch. 3-1 on Saunders. Franklin waiting on deck. Fouled straight back, 3-2. It's kind of what we're talking about here. Slumping in Seattle, to be sure. They rank really near the bottom in the American League in most of these rankings.
They don't have much of an identity because they don't steal bases, only 45 of those. They do hit some home runs, though, but they don't do very well with runners in scoring position. Therefore, that's the only way that they usually get on the board.
Third in the major leagues, as a matter of fact, in home runs.
And they're going to get into the Tigers' middle relief here this evening, however. Already 6 3-ball counts and by Justin Verlander, and he's about to throw his 70th pitch of the night.
Lifted back out of play. Well, 29 in the third. The Mariners did not score in that inning, but it was stressful. 3-2 on Saunders. We're in the fourth inning. 2-0 Seattle. Another foul back out of play. Turned into an 8-pitch at bat. Number 9 coming up. Seattle is 4-12 this month. Drilled to center field. Jackson on the move. Saunders out of there. One gone. Well, every game counts. Deposits are now being taken for postseason luxury suite packages. All packages include a credit to be used toward a 2014 suite package. Call 313-471-2222 if you'd like more information. Here's Nick Franklin. 0-1 on Franklin. Now Verlander's 0-1. Dives in for a strike. 0-2. Franklin right now is among the rookie leaders in a few categories. Homers, extra base hits. He's got 17 doubles as well. The 0-2. We were talking about his power last night, Rod. I guess you can kind of term it as wiry power because he's not a very big guy.
No, he's not. But apparently he's got some really nice hand-eye coordination. And when he does hit it, it travels. You would not equate his body type to a guy that has as much power as he has.
He's a former first-round pick as well for Seattle a couple of years ago in 2009. Spread out at the plate. Here's the 2-2. Breaking ball got him on the outer edge. Franklin is out of there.
Good curveball there on the outside part of the plate that got Franklin looking for strike 3. Xfinity high-speed pitch of the evening so far, thrown by Justin Verlander. 97 miles an hour, 78 with his curveball.
It's a ball high and away to Henry Blanco. Blanco bounced into a double play. That was back in the second. The M's scored a couple of runs, and Verlander got a big twin killing, minimizing the damage. 1 ball, 1 strike on Blanco. The well-traveled Mr. Blanco. He's played for 11 different big league teams. On the outer edge, 1-2. Look out, foul straight back and right above us. Fortunately, right above us. That's the first one all year, isn't it?
And that one came to eat, too.
First one the last couple of years.
Came to eat. You can get up now. You up? You all right?
Oh, I'm breathing. Man, when you can hear him coming at you.
Oh, you can see that one.
That's trouble. Slow roller to second, and out is Blanco. It's a 1-2-3 inning, and we are still breathing. That's the good news. Seattle on top, 2-0. We go to the middle of the fourth.
Started it on this homestand. He is hitting .368 overall. He's simply taking what the opposing pitcher giving. Not trying to force the issue when they throw the ball away. He just takes it in that direction. And he did it here in the very first inning, slicing a double down in the left field corner. Last 18 games, 8 knocks to left, 7 up the middle, and he hasn't been as pull happy as he has been overall this year.
Iwakuma back at the hill as we start things off at the bottom of the 4th, and it's a breaking ball strike.
Tigers yet to figure Iwakuma out, but very few have this year. He comes in with really good numbers, 170 strikeouts, 39 walks, and an ERA of .287.
Well, you mentioned earlier as well that he has crossed the 200 innings plateau, and he is the 4th Japanese-born pitcher to do that in a single season. Nomo, Kuroda, and Daisuke are the other 3. And here's some of the numbers, the superlatives of Iwakuma. You don't hear his name much in the Cy Young conversation, but he's right up there in terms of stats. Here's the ball low.
Not only has Iwakuma gone over the 200 inning threshold, but there will be a couple of other Japanese-born players to do as much this season with him. That would be Darvish of the Texas Rangers and also Kuroda of the New York Yankees. And both of those guys are knocking on the door of 200 innings pitched this season.
Fouled away. Which seems a little bit odd when you consider, at least in Iwakuma's case, the fact that we told you he doesn't go past 100 pitches very often. So he's going deep into games in the 90 range. Blanco flashing the signals. Here's the 1-2. Just off the plate, tried to thread the needle out there with the fastball.
Had he thrown that fastball over the plate, Prince would not have been able to swing at it. It looked like to me that Prince may have been sitting on the split-fingered fastball that Iwakuma will feature when he gets ahead of you with 2 strikes. He's already gotten 2 strikeouts tonight with that splitter. There it is.
Bouncing ball left side. Seager gobbles it up. Fielder is out. It's 8 straight retired by Iwakuma. Here comes Martinez. Tigers certainly trying to get into the bullpen of the Seattle Mariners, because that has been a weak link to their team this year. Their team bullpen, or their team ERA, is 29th in the major leagues. About 4.5 ERA, so they've not been able to get it done from the pen. Carl Willis, though, has to be impressed with the start tonight from Iwakuma. He's seen a lot of that, though, this year. There's a strike called on Victor Martinez. Bouncing ball back up the middle. Franklin, long run. Off balance throw is high. He threw it away. Victor has a 1-out infield hit. Franklin knew he probably had a chance with the runner, but his throw sailed.
Very difficult to get on top of your throw when you're trying to reposition your body and throw at the same time while you're in the air. And Franklin got lucky that ball did not go into the Seattle Mariners dugout.
Really, in retrospect, I guess he had no chance there. Victor able to pull in with a 1-out single. So here is Tuiasa Sopo. Tigers have their 3rd hit of the game. Tui struck out with the bases full back in the 1st. Breaking ball drops in for a strike, 0-1.
And Jim Leland hoping that Tuiasa Sopo can run into one tonight against Iwakuma. Iwakuma has given up 25 homers this year, 15 of those to right-handed batters.
Here's the 0-1. No one bounces in. Blanco can't find it. Advance the runner.
Nice job there by Victor Martinez, anticipating the breaking ball, and then once he saw the ball hit the dirt, it took very little time for him to start his engine and get down to second base. Good instincts.
Wild pitch. Grounded foul. The count goes to 1-2 on Tuiasa Sopo. The infield single here in the 4th inning stops the string of 8 straight retired by Iwakuma. And the 1-2. Ball high, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
You can pretty much anticipate what the next pitch is going to be if you're Tuiasa Sopo, but you just can't look for it. It's going to be that split-fingered fastball. When he does throw the elevated heater, a lot of times he does go to that pitch. You still have to look for your fastball, though. You have to be ready to hit that. If he throws the splitter, you hope he hangs it.
Low, fill it now, 3-2.
Nice job by Tuiasa Sopo, able to lay off that split-fingered fastball.
55 now for Iwakuma. Crowd starting to get into it a little bit. Full count on Tuiasa Sopo. Avila waiting on deck. And he walked him. Tuiasa Sopo would not chase. Tying runs are on now for Detroit. Second walk of the game for Iwakuma, one of them intentional. We'll bring up Avila.
Tuiasa Sopo laid off a couple of pitches that were out of the strike zone. It's not been the norm for most American League hitters. 36% of the time Iwakuma gets swings and misses on that split-fingered fastball that's out of the strike zone. That leads all American League hurlers.
Well, he's in some hot water now with 2 on and 1 out. Here's Alex Avila, who bounced out his first time up. And he looks at a strike on the outer edge, 0-1. Alex, since the All-Star break, is at .317. He's knocked in quite a few runs compared to the amount of games he's played in. The at-bats he's got in the second half. 24 RBIs in the second half.
Alex would love to see his batting average a little bit higher, but if you're Jeff Jones and you're Jim Leland and you're the Tigers pitching staff, he is worth his weight in gold. He has had a really nice year behind the plate. Tigers have an outstanding pitching staff, and even though he struggled the very first half of the year, it did not affect him when he put that catcher's gear on. Good leader.
Here's the other thing, the Tigers catching core, when you just combine Avila and Pena, they've knocked in 67 runs combined. Here's the 1-1. But it's that ability to handle the pitching staff and what he brings behind the plate that oftentimes is overlooked.
Every night calls an outstanding game.
Ryan Pena has been the perfect complement to Avila. When Alex has been out, Avila has been able to watch Pena step in and really do some good work.
Avila said that he was allowed to call his own pitchers when he was at Alabama, which very few college coaches allow you to do. And he said his maturation was sped up because of that.
That'll get back into the seats right behind the dugout. 2-2 the count.
Have to pay attention in those seats.
So Iwakuma now is struggling to get through the fourth. He got the leadoff man Fielder to ground out. Then an infield hit by Martinez. Tui Asasopo walked. And it's 2-2 on Avila. Bouncing ball slowly toward third. Seager on the charge. Bobbles! Everybody is safe. He couldn't scoop it up with the glove, and the bases are loaded.
Seager basically played that into an air. He had more time. He really didn't have to rush that ball as aggressively as he did. And had he not done so, he would have gotten the easy out at first base with Avila running. He created a very difficult hop for himself.
It's an E5 on the play. Carl Willis is out to talk with Iwakuma and his interpreter. Hey, by the way, this Friday the Tigers play the White Sox at 7:08. The first 10,000 fans receive a 2014 Detroit Tigers magnet schedule. Call 866-66-TIGER or log on to tigers.com.
Magnet schedules are out already.
Got to get ready for next year. So here is Hernan Perez.
Did you get your Mickey bobblehead yesterday, by the way?
Negative. Did you get yours?
I did not. I have to get on that.
An on-air plea for a Miggy bobblehead. I like it. Martinez, Tui Asasopo, and Avila. Still only one out. And Perez takes ball one. Hernan hit the ball hard his first time up. He squared it up but hit it straight at the center fielder Ackley.
If you're wondering why Omar Infante not playing, battling a little bit of a sore quadricep, so Jim Leland giving him the night off tonight. Perez gets the nod at second base.
The outside corner, strike 1-1. Right on the edge. Now home plate umpire Phil Cuzzy getting upset at the Tigers dugout because there's some chirping going on. And he's returning the chirping. Bouncing ball to short, might be two. Trienfeld to second one. The relay. Got him at first base, a double play. Tigers hit into a 6-4-3, and Iwakuma gets out of the jam. Griffey Jr. Who are the 5 players who have each won 10 or more career Gold Gloves? Well, Jr. could do it. Ken Griffey Jr. was one whale of a player.
Good question tonight.
Think about that. We'll get you the answer in a little bit. The Tigers let a golden opportunity slip by. Double play ball ends the inning, and so we go to the top of the 5th. 2-0 in favor of Seattle, and it's going to be Trienfeld, then Ackley and Gutierrez. Perez hits in the double play, and so the bases loaded situation ends. Trienfeld with a fly ball his first time up is 0 for 1. 2 runs on 3 hits tonight for Seattle. No runs, 3 hits for Detroit. Ball 1 low to Carlos Trienfeld. He was signed as a 16-year-old back in 2006, so he spent quite a bit of time in the minor leagues. Ball low, 2-0. 7 seasons, as a matter of fact, for Trienfeld. In there is strike 2-1. Lifted back out of play. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Talking about this a little bit last night. It's not been a picnic for the Seattle team. On this 10-game road trip, they have faced both St. Louis and now the Tigers. And in the first 7 games, they're going to face pitchers that have a combined record of 83 and 53. So they are seeing some good staffs and some good starting pitching every night. And for a team that has been offensively challenged this year, it's certainly going to be a challenge for them. 2-2 the count stays on Carlos Trienfeld. In this series, they saw Porcello, who struck out double digits in game 1, and then of course Sanchez last night.
Porcello has been one of the hottest pitchers in baseball since July 1st. 9 wins for Rick Porcello.
Fouled away. Well, he kind of gets lost in the shuffle when you talk about names like Scherzer in the year he's had, Verlander, Fisker,
Sanchez.
Yeah. Two and 2. Rick really safe for those 2 starts against the Angels and the 1 start against Boston. He has really good numbers. 3-2 now on Trienfeld. Ackley and then Gutierrez to follow. We're in the 5th inning here at Comerica. Mariners got 2 in the 2nd. A high towering fly ball to the left. Tuiasosopo is under it. 1 gone. That's 6 in a row retired by Verlander. JV's up to 90 now. Dustin Ackley looks at a strike. One and 1 the count on Ackley, who tonight is 0 for 1 with a walk. Didn't need to ask you this. What do you got on this beard here?
He should be playing for the Boston Red Sox or the Oakland Athletics. With all that facial hair.
Driven to left field. Tuiasosopo going back. Warning track in front of the wall to make the catch.
I'm real jealous too, though, because I can't grow a beard. I'm over 50 years old and I cannot grow a beard. I'm serious.
So if you started tomorrow and gave it, say, I don't know, 2 weeks, you couldn't grow one?
I have spots everywhere.
Here's Gutierrez. Franklin batting .252, has an infield single and a flyout.
And they have given Franklin a lot of breaking balls here today. Show him the fastball, then simply go with the breaking balls. They've been doing the same thing to him since he wore the Cleveland Indians uniform. Franklin won a Gold Glove back in 2010. Tremendous center fielder. Just can't stay healthy these days. There's that slide piece.
2 stints on the DL this year for Gutierrez. He had 4 trips on the DL last year.
Remember when he ran into that wall here? That out-of-town scoreboard trying to run down a double?
Yeah, I don't remember who hit that ball, but it was impressive.
Oh, they peeled him off that wall, though.
There's the strike call.
I mean, he ran right into it full speed. He was playing for Cleveland. Well, not sure if it was Seattle or Cleveland now.
That's a good question, actually. Yeah, it might have been Seattle.
Yeah, doesn't really matter. He
hit
it
1-2. Fouled away. I want to clarify that AT&T trivia question that we just gave you on Mr. Griffey. You want to make sure that you know we're talking about the 5 outfielders who have each won 10 or more career Gold Gloves. You're told he was playing with Seattle at the time that he slammed into the wall. Gutierrez. 1-2 is tipped into the glove for strike 3, and Verlander has himself a 1-2-3 fifth. He's retired 8 straight. Tigers baseball presented by Bell Tire. Well, the Tigers trying to get the offense going here. They've managed only 3 hits so far against Iwakuma. And as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning, Hisashi Iwakuma will face Jose Iglesias to lead things off.
Iglesias, he bunted for a base hit in last night's game, and Kyle Seager right now their third baseman, giving Iglesias way too much room down there. If Iglesias is thinking about bunting for another base hit here this evening.
So far, no sign of it. Strike 1 the call. Jose, who struck out back in the 2nd. 3-14 now for Iglesias. Here's the 0-1. Iwakuma back in the 4th inning through 22 pitches. Gave up a single walk, victim of an error, but he got a huge double play ball to end the inning. Now the 1-1. 1-2 the count on Iglesias.
Here's where Iglesias has made some strides after putting on a Tigers uniform. When he does fall behind with 2 strikes, he has shortened up his swing a little bit. That last swing was a big swing. You cannot take huge swings, not against Iwakuma, and not when you know he's going to throw you that split-fingered fastball, which is a devastating pitch.
Popped up. Right side of the infield. Who wants it? Smoke, the first baseman.
Iwakuma does not throw that hard. His fastball tops out at about 92, but he moves his fastball all around the strike zone. He has the same kind of command with that pitch that Anibal Sanchez has, and he gets lots of swings and misses. But this pitch right here, this splitter that you're looking at in his glove, and we're going to show you at the top of its motion, it's got real nice tumbling action on it, and it's been a really good pitch for him since coming stateside after spending 11 years in Japan.
Here's Jackson now. He's 0 for 2. A couple of ground balls to Seager at third. Drops one in for a strike. 0-1.
92. There you have it. Top fastball thrown by Iwakuma tonight.
Rolled foul. No balls, 2 strikes. Iwakuma pitched for Japan in the 2004 Olympics. They won the bronze medal that year, and of course the World Baseball Classic a few years later in 2009 when Japan won the gold. Last season, his first year with Seattle, he pitched both in the bullpen and in the starting rotation. Strictly a starter this year. Strike called, and Jackson is out. AJ didn't like it. 2 gone. Nor did Jim Leland. And he continues to let Phil Cuzzy know about it.
And Jackson thought it was up and out of the strike zone. But Iwakuma, he can throw that fastball right at the top of the zone and gets a lot of strikes called on that pitch. He does it by design.
Don Kelly is single and a fly ball. 1 for 2. Here's the 1-0. Lifted in the air. Shallow center field. Ackley coming hard, and he'll slide and make the catch. Well, that's the second time tonight Dustin Ackley has come in, made a nice play in center field. 1, 2, 3 go the Tigers. On our way to the 6th inning. It's still 2-0 M's. Time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Nice night here at the ballpark tonight. Tigers, though, trailing by 2 as we head now to the top of the 6th inning. Justin Verlander goes back to the hill, and JV in this frame will face 3, 4, and 5. Seager, Morales, and Smoke. 2 runs, 3 hits, 1 error for Seattle. No runs, 3 hits, no errors for the homestanding Tigers. Seager had a walk and a fly ball. He's 0 for 1. Sends a ground ball to first, foul. Seager back in the month of June had a 15-game hitting streak. We've talked about his streaks. He's been really good at times, but then in August he had an 0 for 21 stretch. Batting average now at 268. Checked it. Strike called on the outer edge. 0-2. So Verlander here in the 6th inning has now hit 100.
Tigers bullpen was not at full strength last night. There was no Drew Smiley. There was no Joaquin Benoit.
Slapped in the air to left. Tuiasosopo was under it. 1 out. Time for a game break now. We check in with Mickey York. All right, Mick, the Tigers came in 6 up on Cleveland. There's a drive towards shallow left field. Tuiasosopo runs in for the catch on this one.
Cleveland Indians, very impressive win last night against the Kansas City Royals. The Royals were leading most of the game 3-0, and the Cleveland Indians were able to beat that Royals bullpen. A great bullpen.
Yeah, that's the surprising thing.
Terry Francona called it their best win of the year.
Well, because of the pitch count for Verlander, there is action. Darren Downs and Luke Pecconin.
We haven't seen Darren Downs since he came back on that last road trip.
Thinking the same thing. July the 6th, when he faced the Indians, was his last big league appearance. Of course, Darren went down to the minors. Smoke looks at a pitch outside. 2-0. JV on a roll right now. He's retired 10 straight. He has settled in after giving up 2 in the 2nd. But the Tiger offense has not been able to figure out Hisashi Iwakuma. 2-1. Driven to left field. Hit pretty good. Tuiasosopo going back. Track. Wall. Leaps. Can't get it. Smoke does it again in this ballpark. He goes the other way and makes it 3-0 Seattle.
We talked about Justin Smoke at the top of the show, and we told you that he's got a lot of power. That is his 6th career home run right here at Comerica Park, and this is not an easy ballpark to hit homers in. He got himself a fastball that was down, and he let it travel and really used his legs. Great effort out there by Tuiasosopo, but couldn't elevate high enough to help out Justin Verlander.
Yeah, Tui sold out on that play and almost flipped himself over the wall. Here's Saunders. In there for strike 1. RBI double back in the 2nd. A 2-out solo shot by Justin Smoke, his 17th homer of the year. And his 6th career in this spacious ballpark. Fouled off. 0-2. You know what they call smoke home runs in Seattle, don't you?
Gun smoke?
Smoke bombs.
That goes to say where I'm an old guy. I remember gun smoke.
That's still pretty good. That fits. Ground ball to first. Knocked down by Prince. And Verlander covers for the out. Tuiasosopo made it close. Gave it his best shot. But he falls a little bit short. Smoke goes deep. 3-zip. as Iwakuma has given up 3 hits in this game. And Rod, when you talk about the Seattle staff, you'd think about Felix Hernandez as the ace, but Iwakuma's numbers stack up nicely.
Well, you talked about Iwakuma a couple of innings ago. Had he had more wins, he would be in the Cy Young conversation. It's very difficult to really have guys in that conversation that have won just 12 games, but these two are really good.
A whip of 1.03 is even better than King Felix, and Iwakuma goes back to work now in the bottom of the 6th. And Miguel Cabrera is leading things off. The meat of the Tigers order now. Cabrera, Fielder, Martinez.
Iwakuma, he knows that Miguel Cabrera hits nearly 500 on first pitches seen in any at bat this year, and therefore not really coming close to the plate on first pitches to Miguel.
Grounded foul, 1 ball, 1 strike. Miggy tonight with a fly ball to center and a strikeout.
Even Miggy in nodding his approval of that split-fingered fastball thrown by Iwakuma. Miggy licked his lips. I guess he was telling Iwakuma, "You're not wetting it up, are you?"
Swing and a miss. You know, I never even thought of that. Was that what he was saying?
Absolutely. Playing games.
1 and 2.
Having fun.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He has struck him out again.
He's dirty. The Tigers, they knew because they watched a lot of Iwakuma today in the clubhouse that he is going to give them a lot of these pitches that we continue to show you, the split-fingered fastball, and he has gotten a lot of swings and misses on that pitch because he doesn't make mistakes with it.
5 strikeouts now for Hisashi Iwakuma. Here's Prince Fielder. Went the other way with a double inside the bag at third his first time up. And he drives this one deep to right field. That ball is hooking, though, and it'll go foul.
That ball was under the speed limit. And just 73 miles an hour, that slow curveball.
No 1-1 on Prince. 3 hits, that's it for the Tigers. They got 2 of them in the first. An infield single by Kelly and a double by Fielder. And Victor had an infield single later in the game. And he shoots one to third. Diving stop there by Seager. Throws him out on a nifty play.
Since July 1st, Victor Martinez has over 100 hits, which is the most in the American League. The batting average, that's the highest as well. The on-base percentage is over 400. And he's a major reason why the Tigers are on the verge of clinching their 3rd consecutive American League Central crown. He has been on fire for 2.5 months now.
Victor now has hit safely in 5 straight. They give up the entire third base line to Martinez. 80 total now for Iwakuma. Took a shot down that third base line, but it went foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. Victor at 299. He has been walked intentionally, which right now I guess you could say was the call of the game by either manager. Runners at second and third, 2 outs in the first. They walked Victor and they got Tuiasosopo to strike out. Eric Wedge was able to help Iwakuma out of that jam. Here's the 1-1. Little bouncer hit towards short. Trienfeld has it. And that'll end the inning. Tigers go 1-2-3 here in the 6th. Let's go to the 7th. Jr., who are the 5 outfielders who each won 10 or more career gold gloves?
Andrew and Ichiro, 2 of them.
Yeah, Andrew Jones. Don't forget Al Kaline, Roberto Clemente, and Willie Mays. There's a statue of Mr. Kaline adorning the wall out there in left center. Well, the Tigers find themselves down by 3 as we go to the 7th. It'll be Nick Franklin to lead it off, then Henry Blanco and Carlos Triunfel. Verlander back out there. And then JV delivers down low. Franklin singled in a run back in the 2nd. He's 1 for 2. Only 4 hits allowed by Verlander, but 3 runs. And the Tigers have managed only 3 hits against Iwakuma. Missed it outside. 2-0 the count. That's in for a strike. 2 balls and 1 strike now on Franklin. Action in the Tiger pen. Lefty Phil Koch, righty Al Albuquerque.
Albuquerque looked good last night. His slider was sharp last night. First time he's really had that. A good slider.
Right now, the Tiger offense, the problem tonight, they just have not been able to get it going against Iwakuma. There's a strike called, and out of there on strikes is Franklin.
Outstanding curveball thrown there by Justin Verlander.
5 strikeouts for JV.
This bender here had a whole lot of bite on it.
Yikes. Verlander now needs 6 strikeouts to reach the 200 plateau for the 5th consecutive year. His foul back out of play. Henry Blanco is 0 for 2, knocked into a double play his first time up. One ball, 1 strike on Blanco. JV came into this one at 30-21 overall against the American League West, and an ERA just a little bit over 3, which is about where he's at tonight. He's given up 3 runs. There's a strike. 1 and 2 on Blanco. Bouncing ball foul. It'll ricochet around in the Tiger dugout. Anibal Sanchez had to move out of his comfy seat. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Foul tip in and out of the glove of Avila. These 2 teams playing a 4-game series, so there's 1 more to go tomorrow. Pfister and Paxton. And then Chicago comes in. Verlander at one point had retired 10 straight in this game. There's a ball low, 2-2 the count. Until Justin Smoke hit an opposite field home run in the 6th inning for the 3rd Seattle run in this contest. And that last one now is number 120 for Justin. To shallow center field and caught by the second baseman, Perez, who crossed over Iglesias. 2 outs.
A couple of guys up the middle that have some pretty good range in Perez and also Iglesias. And neither could really call it because neither was sure whether they were going to get there or not. Iglesias could have caught it, as did Hernan Perez, but I didn't see anybody call it.
There's a tweener. Catch was made, and that's all that counts. Here's Carlos Trienfeld. 2 outs, nobody on for Seattle. He left the strike zone there, 0-1. Little chopper foul down the third base line. No balls, 2 strikes. On Trienfeld, who's 0 for 2 tonight, and his batting average now at the big league level is 118. He's played some solid short, though, in this series. .282 in the minor leagues this year. And the 0-2. Got him, strike 3. Verlander carved him up for his 6th strikeout of the ball game. Time to stretch. It has been all Seattle in this one here tonight. The Mariners have a 3-0 lead. And now the 7th inning stretch presented by Health Plus. Park, Mario and Pemba, Rod Allen, glad you are with us here this evening. Tigers got to get it going offensively, and they'll try to do so late in this game against a guy, Rod, and Iwakuma, that has been awfully good tonight.
He has not pitched in much stress here this evening. He has that fastball that tops out at 92, an occasional really slow curveball with the slider, but the difference maker for him is that split-fingered fastball. It's a really good pitch.
But he got on Verlander tonight. He gave up the home run to Smoke to make it a 3-0 game, but by and large, he hasn't been too bad.
He hadn't given up that many hits. Verlander's only given up 4 hits. He's walked a few in the game, and he's given up a couple of big hits, one early where he gave up a double, which plated 1, and that was early in the contest, the 2nd inning, after a Justin Smoke base on balls, and then a homer by Justin Smoke. So Justin Verlander, just a couple of, you can't even really call them mistakes in the strike zone. You got to give the Seattle Mariners some credit.
Sopo leads it off as we play here in the 7th. Iwakuma brings it home and throws low. One ball and 1 strike on Matt. That one just missed. Only 85 thrown tonight by Iwakuma. We got the Tigers 1-2-3 in the 6th, 1-2-3 in the 5th. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Bouncing ball to short. Trienfeld has it there. And Tuiasa Sopo is out. Hey, Fox Sports 1 is available on all TV providers. Go to foxsports1.com. Find out what channel Fox Sports 1 is on in your area. It's 8 straight now retired by the right-hander Iwakuma. Alex Avila reaching on an error by the third baseman Seager in his last at bat. As you scope out the Tigers scoreboard, not too many hits to be had tonight. Only 3. As advertised, Iwakuma pitching a dandy of a ball game. Won an MVP award over in Japan back in 2008 when he won 21 games in Japan's Pacific League. Check swing roller foul, 0-2. "32-year-old born in Tokyo. Swing and a miss, and Avila goes down on strikes.
Nice leadership skills there shown by the veteran catcher Henry Blanco, who called for the fastball up at 90 miles an hour, and Iwakuma threw it exactly where he wanted it.
6 strikeouts for Iwakuma. You know, his strikeout numbers aren't bad, considering, as you mentioned, he's a guy that doesn't really throw all that hard.
He doesn't walk anybody either. His strikeouts to walks ratio coming into play today was 170 strikeouts, 39 free passes. Only 1.7 base on balls per 9 innings this year for Iwakuma.
He has reached 90 now, and look at that ratio. He's only missed with 28 pitches tonight. Hernan Perez sends a ground ball to third, right at Seager. And Iwakuma's going to have himself another quick inning. It's a 1-2-3 7th. He's retired 10 straight as we go to the 8th.
To smoke in the second half. Second inning, he was scored on a double by Saunders in the left center field. Franklin, the next hitter, he singled and drove in Saunders, and then it was smoke in the 6th inning. He hit a solo shot. It was to left field. That fastball was 94 miles an hour, and Iwakuma, he's done the rest. Tigers have had very few really good swings tonight against Iwakuma.
As a result, these are the numbers: 7 innings, 3 hits, no runs, 6 strikeouts tonight for the Seattle right-hander. Got a wall-side windows pitching change now. Phil Koch comes out of the Detroit bullpen.
Yeah, Phil Koch pitched in last night's game. He left the bases loaded, but Alvarez came in and did a very nice job. It was a managerial move that Jim Leyland made. He brought in Alvarez to face a right-handed batter, and it was Zunino, their starting catcher, and Alvarez was able to get a double play ball to get his squad out of the 8th inning. The score at that time was 2-1.
So here is Dustin Ackley to lead it off. It'll be the top of the order now, facing Koch, Ackley, Gutierrez, and Seager. Ackley looks at the first pitch. It's a fastball strike. Fly out, ground out walk for Ackley. Now 1 for 9 in the series. And he looks at another strike, 0-2. Koch trying to regain the form that he showed in the postseason last year, in which he really bailed the Tigers out in terms of their closer when Valverde faltered. Here's the 0-2. Bouncing ball to second. Hernan Perez to his right. And Ackley is out, 1 gone. Here's Franklin Gutierrez. Fly out, strikeout, infield hit for Franklin. Seattle got 2 in the second. They added 1 more in the 6th. In for strike 1. So Verlander leads this game, giving up just 4 hits in this contest tonight. 2 of them came consecutively, though, in the second, scoring a couple of runs. Then the Justin Smoke homer in the 6th inning. Here's the 0-1. Driven deep to center field. Jackson is on his horse, still going back. He's going to look up. That ball is up and over the wall into the shrubbery, and it's going to be a ground rule double for Franklin Gutierrez. Seventh double of the year for Gutierrez.
If Austin Jackson can't run it down in the center field, no one can really run it down with the jumps he gets out there. That was a 92-mile-per-hour fastball that Franklin Gutierrez turned around.
Kyle Seager now will try and drive in a run. He's 0 for 2 with a walk in this game. Seager cuts and misses 0-1. That is the 5th hit of the ball game for Seattle. That doubled by Gutierrez, and he's got 2 of them. Albuquerque now is the only man warming up for Detroit. Cope ready with the 0-1. And he popped him up. Middle of the infield. Perez to the grass. 2 gone with Gutierrez holding at second. Well, the pennant race is on. You know that. Place a deposit on 2014 Detroit Tigers season tickets and receive 2013 postseason priority. Call 313-471-BALL or visit Tigers.com. They're going to walk Morales here, the switch hitting DH. They'll put him on with first base open. They got Smoke, who was also a switch hitter, but less effective from the right side. He's on deck. Morales in this game was 0 for 3, but the intentional walk put him aboard. Here's ball 3 outside. And ball 4. So put Morales on. And here's Smoke with a chance to do some more damage. Smoke down with 17 home runs. And all of them have been hit left-handed. Coke trying to strand a couple of runners here in the 8th. A double by Gutierrez, an intentional walk to Morales. And Avila does a nice job of blocking that one. 1-0. This is why they elected to have Coke pitch to Smoke here. Turn him around right side, batting just 184. And only 5 RBIs from the right side. Missed it low. 2-0 on Smoke.
With the lack of numbers that Justin Smoke is putting up as a right-handed hitter this year, you wonder if he wants to take a page out of Shane Victorino's book, and that's just bat on the left side. Of course, Victorino batting right-handed these days against right-handed pitching. He's also a switch hitter.
Here's the 2-0. Ground ball left side. It's going to get through. Base hit. Here comes the throw from Tuiasosopo, cut off. Gutierrez scores. It's an RBI single by Justin Smoke, and now a 4-0 lead for Seattle.
Most of Phil Coke's work since coming back from the minor leagues has been against left-handers, and he's given up a couple of hits here to right-handers. Smoke, a switch hitter, gets himself a 93-mile-per-hour fastball, and Gutierrez, who scored on this base hit, he doubled on a 92-mile-per-hour fastball.
Second RBI of the night for Smoke. Meanwhile, Jeff Jones on the phone. We'll get a pinch runner out there at second base. Andy Chavez coming in. He'll run for Morales. Big run there for Seattle. They lead 4-0. A 2-out RBI single by Smoke. Saunders looks at a strike. 0-1. 4-6-1 now for Seattle. No runs, 3 hits, no errors for Detroit. Saunders got on the board early with an RBI double back in the second off Justin Verlander. That made it 1-0. 2 in the second, 1 in the sixth, and now 1 in the eighth for Seattle. Here's the 0-1. Meanwhile, there's an update to pass along from Kansas City. It's now 4-2 Royals in the 5th inning. Here is Luke McConan heating up in the Detroit bullpen. Here's the 1-1. Drill down the right field line. That ball is going to get down and go to the wall. Chavez will score. Smoke will go to third. That's a double, and it's now 5-0 Seattle. And the 7th hit of the night, a big 2-run inning here for the M's. And here is Nick Franklin. 2 doubles, a single, an intentional walk, and 2 runs later it's 5-zip. We're going to walk him intentionally with first base open. We've got Blanco waiting on deck, who has struggled mightily with the bat this year. Second intentional walk of this inning for Koch.
And more than likely, Phil Koch will not face Henry Blanco. Jim will go to the bullpen.
Yeah, they've had McConan warming up out there. He would be good to go. And now Albuquerque warming up as well. And Jim just about to make his way out to the field here after ball 4 is delivered. There it is. So the skipper coming out.
It's going to be a long walk for Phil Koch in the 2nd consecutive night into the home dugout.
So Koch will face 7 batters in this inning. It's a wall side window pitching change. Jim Leland takes the baseball, and we step aside. 5-0 in favor of Seattle.
.3-3 record this season for Al Albuquerque. Got the win in last night's game. His whip is over 1.5. The one thing that he does have, he's got a legitimate strikeout pitch, and that would be the slider. However, the 31 base on balls in 47 games, that number is a little bit too high.
So here is Blanco, who's now 0 for his last 28. His last hit was August 20th in Oakland, and he's going to bat here with the bases loaded, 2 runs in.
Is that a long time?
It's going to qualify as a long time. In baseball terms, yes. 1 ball, no strikes. Double play ball, ground out, and a pop up tonight for Blanco. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike. So things have gotten a little bit tougher now for the Tigers. They're down by 5 late in this game. Albuquerque trying to keep it there. Swing and a miss. 1-2 on Henry Blanco.
If Albuquerque continues to locate his slider where he located that last one to Blanco, he could tell the hitter that that pitch is coming, and they still would not be able to make contact with it. That's how good that pitch is when he is right.
And the 1-2. Fouled away. Another slider. That one stayed up, fouled back out of play. Koch started the inning after 7 frames tonight from Tiger starter Justin Verlander. And the runners on the bases are still his property. This is going to get away from Avila. They'll try and get another run in. Throw to the plate. Safe. 2 runs might score. And they will.
Wheels have fallen off in this inning.
2 runs come in and a wild pitch. And we'll get probably a throwing error as well.
Great hustle by Avila to get over. And to get the wild pitch, it was a slider. But once he got there, he got it to Albuquerque. And it wasn't a bad throw to Albuquerque, but Albuquerque whiffed on it. And because he whiffed on it, the ball got over toward the Tigers' dugout. And Saunders, who was running from second, able to score.
Wild pitch. They're going to charge Avila with the error. 7-0 Seattle. And a fly ball to shallow right center field. Kelly comes in to end the inning. However, big inning for Seattle. They score 4 times. Tonight with Seattle on top 7-0 now. Iwakuma's had 5 1-2-3 innings in this game. Justin Verlander not too bad tonight. 7 of the last 9 outings he's gone 7 or more. And the Tigers offense in this series, innings 1 through 5, only 2 runs. They've done a little bit of damage late, so they're going to need a lot of damage here in this one tonight.
We talked about Iwakuma last night when we were closing out our broadcast, and we brought up the fact that the Tigers hitters were going to have to be on top of their game this evening if they were going to get to Iwakuma, because for the most part all year he has given his squad a quality start after quality start.
So far tonight he has allowed just 3 hits in this contest.
Tigers' magic number could still go down this evening. And should the Kansas City Royals hold on to beat the Cleveland Indians.
He'll sling one outside, and the count goes to 2-0 now on Iglesias.
So I guess even if you lose,
you win.
You win.
That's assuming KC can hold on. Still a lot of time left in that game.
It doesn't help the Tigers in their march toward gaining the best record in the American League or overtaking the Oakland Athletics, but it's another day off the schedule.
Here's the 2-0. Iglesias looks at ball 3. A lengthy sit down for Iwakuma. And he has come out 3-0 now on Iglesias. That's in there, 3-1. 10 in a row retired by Iwakuma. Another strike, 3-2 on Jose. Bouncing ball left side. Seager has the high hop. He's been busy tonight down at third base. That's 11 straight retired. Iwakuma now is at 97 total, and his pitch count high for the year is 108. There's Jackson.
Last 3 starts for Iwakuma, even though the ERA under 1. 3 no decisions for him, so he is just really continuing to do here tonight, which he had done in his prior 3 starts to this start here this evening.
Difference is they've gotten him some runs tonight. A bushel full, 7-0. It's the most runs Seattle has scored since September the 7th, when they scored 6. Here's the 0-1. Swing and a miss, 0-2. You can see why Iwakuma's whip is so low this year. He's allowed just 3 hits.
It's also 17 of 28 this evening in first pitch strikes. And when you're that efficient at getting ahead of even a really good team like Detroit, if you can expand the strike zone and you can spot your curveball and your slider and your splitter the way that Iwakuma has done, you're going to get a splits like this. 68 of the 100 pitches thrown have been strikes.
Carl Willis on the telephone. Their pitching coach, the 1-2, is drilled to center. That's a base hit. Jackson comes up with a 1-out single here in the 8th.
Pretty good pass on the baseball there by Austin Jackson. His swing had been long and big all game long, but he really shortened up that time and just kind of took what Iwakuma was giving him, pulled his hands in nicely close to his body and barreled it up.
So look at the bullpen working now. Lucas Litke starting to warm up. Farquhar is their closer, but of course now in a 7-0 game. It was close up until that 4-run 8th. And Don Kelly looks at one low. Kelly 1 for 3. Infield single way back in the first. Litke is the first reliever that has had to warm up at all in this game for Seattle. There's the 1-0 pitch. High fly ball. Shallow right center field. Ackley coming in. 2 outs. Now Cabrera. And Iwakuma has really done a job on Miguel tonight. He has struck him out twice, 0 for 3 overall. Five pitches shy now of his career high of 108. Or his season high, I should say, of 108. Swing and a miss. 0-1 on Miguel.
Miggy having a difficult time of picking up that pitch thrown by Iwakuma this evening. And he has swung right over the top of a lot of those split-fingered fastballs at 83 miles an hour.
The 0-1. Ground ball to second. Picked up there by Franklin. And that is that for Detroit. 8 innings in the books. This one tonight has belonged to Hisashi Iwakuma. 8 shutout innings tonight for Seattle. Nothing. The Tigers hopeful of KC holding on to that game. It would shave the magic number at least down to 5 if the Tigers don't come back here tonight. And Luke Pekonen takes over now for Detroit.
Sounds like there's some Royal fans in that Call Sam studio this evening as well.
Absolutely. Trienfeld's going to lead it off. Carlos Trienfeld, the number 9 hitter, facing Pekonen here in the 9th. Ackley, then Gutierrez. Bouncing ball to short. And Iglesias has the hop. Trienfeld's out on 1 pitch.
It's not very often that you're 5-6 games away from clinching a berth to get in the postseason and your bullpen being a little bit of a disarray. I mean, the Tigers are going to have some very difficult decisions to make. And once they do clinch and once they do get into the postseason as to who's out in that bullpen.
Yeah, I think as you look at it right now, those are the more serious decisions the Tigers will have to make as Ackley stands in. And there was a time where Jim Leland really felt good about his bullpen. He said, as he was saying, it's finally in sync. You've got Benoit as your closer. You have Smiley pitching well at the back end. Rondon pitching well.
Yeah, but Rondon's gone down with a little bit of a tender right elbow, and I don't know what the prognosis is or when they're going to get him back, but he was starting to pitch with a lot of confidence.
Danny Farquhar, their closer, is indeed warming up despite the score. Rondon apparently threw today before the game and felt pretty good, so that was a positive.
Did he throw on flat ground or did he throw off the mound? Do you know?
Can't answer that. I don't know.
Because I know the last time he just threw on flat ground.
There is, however, time, though, to get it all sorted out. The Tigers still have that road trip coming up of 6 games after this homestand is complete. The 1-2 fouled off.
If you're Iwakuma and you're able to put up as many goose eggs as you've been able to put up here tonight, you have to get your defensive players to make some nice plays behind you, and that's exactly what Dustin Ackley has been able to do. He made a really nice grab in the second inning, and he also made a sliding grab in the fifth inning.
Strike called, and Ackley punched out of there. So Peconin gets a couple of quick outs, 2 away. Franklin Gutierrez.
Tigers bullpen this time last year looked a whole lot different. They had Albuquerque in that bullpen. Phil Koch was pitching very well. Dotel was in that bullpen.
We don't talk about Dotel much, but his loss was another veteran arm the Tigers were hoping to get back late in the season, but he's been shut down for the year.
And he went out there every single time that Jim Leland called his number.
Drilled deep into left field. Tuiasa Sopo back and gone.
That's the Franklin Gutierrez that I remember from back in 2010 when he won a Gold Glove and hit some home runs.
Ain't no doubter.
He's had a good day.
That he has. Single double homer. And it's 8-0 Seattle.
Some you knew they're gone as soon as they leave the bat, and that was the case there.
Eight runs on 8 hits for Seattle. They've scored 5 of their 8 runs in the last 2 innings. Here's Seager. Ball 1. I mentioned this earlier. Final game in the series coming up tomorrow. Then Chicago comes in Friday, Saturday, Sunday to wind up the final homestand. And sprayed foul, back out of play. Wave and a miss. One and 2 on Kyle Seager. Swing and a miss, and Peconin strikes him out. That'll end the inning. Another run in on the home run by Gutierrez. Let's go to the bottom of the 9th.
They're up for their last at-bats here against Seattle. We invite you to stick around for the Tigers Live postgame show. Right after this, we'll go inside the Tigers clubhouse, talk with Jim Leland, Justin Verlander, and others. And, of course, Mickey York, Craig Monroe, able to break it down in our Call Sam studios. Mario and Rod, back to you for the bottom of the ninth.
All right, Shep, thanks very much. The Mariners looking for the final 3 outs of this ball game. They will bring in their closer now, Danny Farquhar, to get some work.
4.62 ERA. He has lost 3 games, has not won a game. 74 strikeouts against 20 walks for Danny Farquhar.
So the Tigers down big in this one. They are down to their final 3 outs. It'll be Fielder, Martinez, and Tuiasosopo facing the right-hander. Farquhar assuming the closer's role from Wilhelmsen. And here's Fielder to start things off. Prince in the ballgame tonight has a double.
And Farquhar's got a lot of life on his fastball. He'll touch 97 miles an hour with his heater. He also will cut the fastball at 92. And he's got a usable curveball.
Hounded back out of play. No balls, 1 strike on Prince. 8 runs on 8 hits for Seattle. No runs on 4 hits for the Tigers. Iwakuma tonight was really good.
And Farquhar and the Tigers catcher Alex Avila were teammates in high school in Miami. Archbishop McCarthy High School. They also went on to play in the Cape Cod League as well. So both guys are on the fast track. You don't get to Cape Cod unless you're a pretty good player. That's one of your more prestigious summer leagues of baseball.
Fouled straight back, 1-2. You can't just knock on the door and say I'm playing in the Cape Cod League.
No, you cannot do that.
There you go, Archbishop McCarthy High School in Florida. And both were selected in the Major League Draft in 08. Of course, Avila was out of Alabama.
Oh, that's wicked.
Yeah, it is. Prince is out, 1 gone.
Nick Castellanos also went to that same high school. He was a couple of years behind Avila in Farquhar. Somebody else went to that school too. Was it we just saw them? Eric Hosmer?
Hosmer, correct. Here's Martinez. Single intentional walk in this one tonight. And a ground out. Whistled foul. Eight 0 in favor of Seattle in this one as we play in the bottom of the 9th inning. Seattle 2 outs away from getting a victory in this series. It would be their first. 1 ball, 1 strike. Farquhar pitched his college ball at Louisiana Lafayette in the Sun Belt Conference. 2-1 the count. They list Danny at only 5'9", 180. Big arm though. Here's the 2-1. 2-2 on Victor. Wasn't too crazy about that last call. Neither was the skipper, who's all night been shaking his head. But with the score at 8-0 right now, he's just going to move on. Martinez, though, continues the conversation. That'll bounce in.
Victor did it in a very professional way. continued to look out toward the pitcher while he continued to have what appeared to be a very mild conversation with Phil Cuzzy. And they have continued to talk about that pitch.
And there's a walk, so Martinez is on with one out. Brian Pena now is going to pinch hit for Tuiasa Sopo.
And more than likely, Brian Pena will catch tomorrow. Avila has caught 5 days in a row, and with it being a day game tomorrow, it's a nice opportunity to get Brian Pena at least one bat as he gets ready to play tomorrow.
I think actually Jim was talking about Victor catching tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, you did say that earlier today.
That was the plan. But that may change. Who knows?
No, if he said it.
There's a ball outside. 1-0 the count on Pena.
Not uncommon, though, for a manager to do exactly what he is doing here if Pena was going to get the nod tomorrow afternoon.
306 for Pena. 22 RBIs in a backup role this year. And he drills one foul down the right field line. Would you say he's been better offensively than you expected?
Absolutely. I think at the first half of the year when Avila was struggling offensively, Brian Pena was a really nice option. He helped the Tigers stay afloat.
Here's the 1-1. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Brian Pena, one of the things that he has talked about that has really helped him as far as his batting average is concerned is watching professional hitters like Victor and Miggy and Torrey on a nightly basis, and not only during the game but also their approaches in batting practice. That has really helped Brian Pena.
Here's the 2-1. High fly ball center field. Ackley backing up. It'll be the second out of the inning. And the Tigers now down to 1 final out as Alex Avila comes strolling in. And the former teammates will face each other here.
This is for bragging rights right here.
Yes, it is.
I mean, this is bragging rights. High school teammates, summer ball teammates. They got a few stories on each other.
Yes, they do. And they probably made a pact not to release any of it. Because you know in summer ball there's plenty of stories. 2 out now. Avila in the ball game. 0 for 3. Hammers one foul back out of play. 0-1. Tigers tonight limited to just 4 hits in this game. Iwakuma pitched the first 8 innings. Farquhar here in the 9th. Victor aboard after the 1-out walk.
Ooh, nice bender there. 78 miles an hour. Fastball gets up to 96, and he can throw that for a strike whenever he wants to.
It's a ball high, 1 ball and 2 strikes. We've just learned they've taken an error away from Avila, and they've given it to Albuquerque.
Albuquerque
covering on that play at the plate. So I think it's probably the right call.
I agree with that.
The throw was right there. Albuquerque just didn't catch it. 2-2. Perez waiting on deck. And he got him, strike 3 in the outer edge. And that's all for the Tigers tonight. They will drop game 3 in this series. All Seattle this evening, all Iwakuma, 8-0 final.
Tigers are shut out tonight for the 11th time this season.
Also, something that's hard to believe.
Shocking.
Only 4 hits tonight for the Tigers. 8-0 your final score. Stay with us. Back with more from the ballpark.